Things I will say here, I can understand some of that, but for my first Mad Max movie almost 9 years ago, what a way to get me interested. This movie. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Epictastic Joshua if you're returning here, and if you're new here, welcome. I talk movies, TV, music, and anime, and my name is Joshua Drake. I am the creator of Epictastic Joshua, and we are going to talk about the best one of the Mad Max movies. For me, some people will disagree, but we're going to talk about Mad Max Fury Road. This is, as you see, this is one of my magazines that was promoting the film. I also have another one from Entertainment Weekly that I got from my school after I graduated. They were getting rid of some magazines. Mad Max Fury Road is the fourth entry in the Mad Max series. This is directed by George Miller, written by him, Brendan McCarthy, and Nicolas Lafleur. This stars Tom Hardy in this time as Max Rockatansky, Charlize Theron, Zoe Kravitz, Courtney Eaton, Riley Coe, Hugh Keys-Byrne, Nicholas Hoult, and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Set in the post-apocalyptic desert wasteland where petrol and water are scarce, this movie follows Max Rockatansky, who joins forces with Imperator Furiosa against the cult leader Immortan Joe and his army, leading into a lengthy road battle. Oh, this is one of, if not one of the best movies of last decade. Also one of the greatest action movies of all time, and one of the best legacy sequels ever. I remember this hype for this movie coming out because I was going online to see advertisers. I'm like, what's this Mad Max? What is this? This is crazy. And then hearing that George Miller, he came up with this idea after Beyond Thunderdome, and this movie got many years in development hell, and they were trying to film this during the 2000s, but it was delayed due to the 9/11 attacks, the war on Iraq, and the controversies surrounding Mel Gibson, leading to a recast of Max Rockatansky. But the movie got back into production after Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2, and filming was delayed for a good bit until July, but they finally got the movie made. Of course, there was tensions between Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. There was a lot there, and also no one expected this to be any good, because the fact that it took 30 years to make this movie and to get it released at the time in 2015, which this is the 9-year anniversary. It's a miracle this movie got made and it got greenlit here. So I definitely really enjoyed that here. And I was introduced to this by my friend Parker. My friend Parker, he loves the franchise. He is obsessed with this movie, and he doesn't do YouTube as much anymore, but he recommended I watch this, and I watched it. I was just taken aback by how crazy this one was and how good this one was. And since this movie, he got me into the series. If it hadn't been for him, I would have never been interested in Furiosa or the franchise. This is my favorite of the Mad Max movies. This is great. Now, some people call it overrated. Some people don't love it as much such. But for me, rewatching this, I still have a blast with this. For my first Mad Max movie almost 9 years ago, what a way to get me interested. This movie got so much acclaim from so many awards and magazines, and it got 6 out of 10 Academy Awards. And I do think the awards are well deserved here. So you see so much that they put. This is how action is done. It won the best editing, best production, best costumes, best makeup, best sound mixing, and best sound editing. But starting off with the positives here is, I will say, George Miller's directing once again. This time he gets the throne fully back to him, and he just has a lot of fun with what we're gonna get. This one is entertaining, is really fun, and it's really crazy. The movie knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't try to be something that is not, which is something I appreciate. And for the budget of $150 to $184 million, it looks real. This looks like a movie. It's not all CGI. In fact, there's very little CGI. There's very little computer generated imagery in this. The fact that his directing in this, 90% of the effects are achieved practically with the guitar and such, but there's a few CGI in here, and you also had action stunt coordinators, performers from the Cirque du Soleil. He and his stunt coordinator and the second unit directors, they made sure this action is on point. Every single moment of action. This is a 2-hour chase, 120 minutes, 2 hours. Don't feel like it. It does not feel like 2 hours at all. It moves by fast. You're getting exactly what you're coming here, and I really did enjoy a lot of what this movie had when it comes to this. And despite the drama with Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron clashing on set, all of that was worth it to get a great film. Action wise, it's fantastic. Cinematography wise, it is very fantastic here. It's really good cinematography here, and the fact that this was gonna be a PG-13 movie, but Warner Brothers, they hold tests for them, and the Miller cut tested, and they released this movie with the R rating. It's great that this movie is back to hardcore R, and it is for the better of it. The action here, like I said, is crazy. The way it's edited with George Miller and his wife Margaret Sitzel, the action, so many different ways of cutting, frenetic. It's crazy, and it's out there, and it's just all for the hell of it. And I've seen some people criticize some of the action, but I think it's so wonderful. It's high octane, so much adrenaline pumping in your body, and you're just like, this is awesome, I love this, this is cool, I love this. And this was me when I first watched it in 2015. Really enjoyed that, and this one does a really good job here. I really like the writing in this movie. Y'all, not only his writers was also here, but you also had a writer being a consultant for characters who has gone through violence against women, which they do touch on that, but it's not in a way where it's heavy-handed. I think it's actually really clever for somebody. I've heard loads of controversy when this movie's coming out, saying this movie is just girls, not Mad Max. I don't agree with that. I think this is still a Mad Max oriented movie. And there is also debates, which is interesting, who is the lead of this movie, Furiosa or Max. And while Furiosa does get a lot to do here, as the story revolves around her and her situation, Max still has plenty to do, and he is used in this movie. And the clashes between the two actors kind of have something to do with this, I don't know, but I think both Max and Furiosa really does help each other. They share a strong bond together, and they find ways to interact with each other despite not having a lot of dialogue. The car chases and stuff, the action, you got explosions, you got sandstorms, you got a flame-throwing guitar. A flame-throwing guitar. That's awesome. That's badass. That is some badass shit. I watched this movie, I'm like, how are these y'all doing this? How is these stunt people and George Miller able to make the filmmaking of these movies look good when half of these directors just want to do the quick cuts, quick editing, shaky cam all over the place? No, and definitely that's not how you do action. this movie or John Wick or some of the other action movies that we've got of yesteryear and what we will get, movies like this is how you shoot action. You shoot it where we can see it. It's hard hitting. It's crazy. Good action cinema, and it's just an adrenaline rush.
It's probably just a case of the Mondays. Am I right?
I really enjoy that. That's why I watch movies like this. And this is one of the greatest action movies here. This is a classic action movie. No matter what you think of this movie, you gotta give it up to the fact this movie it is great and it is fantastic. They really put so much effort into it, and it's just so badass. The action is hard hitting. Woo! I love the action in this movie. It's so fun. It's so good. So good. Directing, I've already touched on the directing. It's amazing. The technical aspects are flawless. From the sound mixing, the sound design, which is enamoring. It's an immaculate sound design. Costume designs are fantastic. I love the production design here. The cinematography, so much color, and not once the movie gets overstimulated with this. Some of y'all are gonna have a problem with some of the color, but there's just so much color that I really enjoy very much, and I think it really does pay off here. And it is satisfying. It's satisfying feat. It's so good. Want to talk about the writing, of course. The writing is great. For a movie that is basically visual storytelling, this is also a criticism where some people say we don't get to know the characters through dialogue. But George Miller, the Mad Max movies has always been this way, even since The Road Warrior. I really enjoy the fact that you don't always need dialogue to tell the story in this, or even No One Will Save You recently. They took notes from this. Visual storytelling, it really does make it competently handled. With the stunt work and the themes of survival and feminism, which I think are done rather well. And I'm invested in this. I really enjoy that. Even the score is fantastic. Holy shit, Junkie XL, he is a great composer, but this is probably his best score besides the Sonic movies. I really thought everything from the technical side to the writing and the direction wise, it's all great. Let's talk about some of these performances though, because I will say the performances are fantastic here. Tom Hardy, the controversies of Mel Gibson and the stuff that had to be done here, and with the tension with him, Charlize Theron, I will say his performance is fine. He doesn't say a whole lot, but it's through his eyes that says a lot. Because that's what you do sometimes with acting. When you don't have a lot of dialogue, you have to use your face or your eyes to express what you're saying. And he's always very good at using his eyes at that. He is an Academy Award nominee, and he's fantastic here. He's no Mel Gibson, but I think he does fine. Charlize Theron is Furiosa. For all you people who want to bitch and complain about this character because she is a badass, I disagree. I can understand your criticisms, but this is one of the better, strong female characters we've had in quite a while. And there's a reason why I'm looking forward to Furiosa, the prequel, to see what they're going to do with her. She may have one arm, but she is such a badass character. She takes charge. She doesn't take shit from anyone. And you get her. She wants to save these 5 wives from Immortan Joe. So I really enjoyed him. Nicholas Hoult has a lot of fun. I do like Nicholas Hoult for the most part. Not everything he does is gold, but I think here he's just having fun with the crazy world. What a lovely day! What a lovely day! What a lovely day! He's pretty good here. Hugh Keys Byrne. He's scary and he's iconic as Immortan Joe. I thought he's very good. The man, may he rest in peace, but I thought he did a very good job being intimidating and really freaking terrifying here as Immortan Joe. You hate him. You want to see him die. Girls, The Five Wives. Yeah, Courtney Eaton in her first film debut. Abby Lee, Zoe Kravitz, Riley Keough, which this was my first time seeing her back in 2015. And you have Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Again, she's not the best actress in this, but she's serviceable. But there's a reason why she does just modeling and not acting. Not much dialogue, but the facial expressions and reactions are enough. There's not much more I can say about this movie. I don't really have any negatives, except I can see some people not loving this as much. Some of you are going to be a little upset with the recasting of Max, and some people, for the under 2 hour runtime, you're kind of going to get a little exhausted with some of the action. But you know what? It's just an action craziness up the ass, cranked up to 300%. But overall, this is one of the most hyperactive, one of the most craziest, and one of the best sequels, one of the best action films of its time, one of the best films of the 2010s decade. And this is just pure action spectacle. When people say they love action movies, you got Aliens, you got the Terminators, you have this, and you got so many other examples. This is great filmmaking. The directing, acting, everything about this movie is on point. This is worth the price of admission. If you've never seen it, if you're scared to watch it because you think it's something that people have said it is, I wouldn't read much into it. Just go in and enjoy, have yourself a good time. This is an entertaining movie, and I'm very happy I gave this a chance. Very happy that I enjoyed this as much as I did. This was great. Well, that's gonna do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay epitastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.